Look at this flawless, weed-free garden bed right next to an overgrown, choked-out plot. Last summer, my 74-year-old neighbor Dan didn't pull a single weed. While the rest of the neighborhood was breaking their backs in scorching 100-degree heat or spraying toxic chemicals, Dan was sitting on his porch drinking sweet tea. His secret wasn't a store-bought shortcut. It was a forgotten, century-old farming trick that cost him exactly $0. As someone who has spent years testing off-grid survival methods and tearing down overpriced corporate gardening gimmicks, I was skeptical. So, I ran a side-by-side test on my own homestead. Today, I'm going to show you how a single, overlooked byproduct of traditional homesteading can completely stop weed seeds from growing without harming your soil. It easily outperforms any $50 bottle of commercial herbicide. In this video, we're breaking down the exact science of why this forgotten method works, how the trillion-dollar agrochemical industry buried it to keep you buying their sprays, and the step-by-step blueprint to apply it to your garden this weekend. But first, let's look at the real problem. Having a yard full of weeds is not a sign that you are a bad gardener. It is a sign of a broken industry system designed to make you fail, so you keep buying their expensive solutions. After World War II, Big AG shifted us away from self-sustaining, traditional homesteading. They pushed us toward high-input, chemical-dependent systems that ruin our land and empty our pockets. It's time to stop playing their game and take back control of our soil. The modern way of fighting weeds is a trap, and it keeps you stuck in an endless cycle of frustration. Most gardeners think that when the weeds take over, the best solution is to fire up the rototiller and chew up the dirt. It feels right because the soil looks beautiful and clean when you are finished. But in reality, you just did exactly what the weeds wanted you to do. Deep underground, millions of dormant weed seeds are just sitting in the dark, waiting. They can stay alive down there for decades without causing any trouble. When you till the soil, you turn it upside down and bring those buried seeds right up to the surface, exposing them to sunlight and air. You are essentially waking them up and planting them in a perfect, fluffy seed bed. A week later, you have twice as many weeds as before, and you are right back where you started, exhausted and defeated. This constant battle exposes the hidden cost of modern gardening. We are told that growing our own food makes us independent, but the current system makes sure you rely on corporate supply chains just to grow a simple tomato. They want you hooked on their gas-powered tools, plastic landscape fabrics, and plastic bottles of weed killer that cost more every single year. It is a brilliant business model for them, but a total trap for you. True self-reliance means breaking free from this loop and using clever, natural systems that work with the earth instead of constantly fighting against it. That brings us back to my neighbor Dan. In the afternoon, he finally showed me how to break the cycle. I walked over to his fence, fully expecting to see him hidden away pulling weeds on his hands and knees. Instead, he chuckled, leaned against his porch railing, and pointed toward his garden rows. He told me that if you are working harder than the soil, you're doing it wrong. That was the moment he revealed the trick our great-grandparents used before big chemical companies took over the agricultural market. The secret relies on two simple things that modern society treats as complete trash: deep layer wood ash from a fireplace and a heavy cover of raw organic wood chips from local tree trimming services. Dan discovered that when you combine these two specific waste materials in a forgotten, precise ratio, they form an impenetrable shield. Think of it like a natural security system for your garden bed. Instead of throwing away the ash from his winter firewood or letting local tree companies dump their wood chips in a landfill, Dan collected them for free. He combined them to create a thick carbon barrier that smothers new weeds before they can even break through the soil. He was using items that people literally pay to get rid of, turning everyday waste into a powerhouse of self-reliance. This simple method completely cuts out the need for expensive store-bought items, proving that the best homesteading solutions are often right in front of us, completely free for the taking. To truly understand why Dan's method is so powerful, we have to look at why modern store-bought solutions are a total scam. The first big myth is plastic landscape fabric. Big box stores love selling this stuff, claiming it will block weeds forever. But anyone who has used it knows the truth. Within a couple of seasons, the plastic begins to break down, releasing harmful microplastics into your soil. Even worse, dust and dirt blow right on top of the fabric, creating a new layer of soil where weed seeds land and grow anyway. You end up with weeds tangled in plastic, making them even harder to pull. The second myth is chemical weed killers. These quick-fix sprays are even more dangerous for your homestead. When you spray these toxins, they do not just kill the weed on the surface. They soak deep into the earth and destroy the beneficial underground fungi networks. Think of these tiny fungi like a natural internet system that helps your plants share nutrients and water. When you wipe out that network, your soil becomes lifeless and dead. Suddenly, your garden plants cannot feed themselves naturally anymore. They become completely dependent on expensive corporate chemical fertilizers just to stay alive. It is a perfect trap designed by chemical companies to keep you spending money year after year. They sell you a spray that ruins your soil, and then they sell you the fertilizer to fix the problem they created. Breaking free from this corporate dependency means realizing that these modern chemical shortcuts are actually designed to make your garden fail without them. Instead of relying on those corporate traps, let me reveal the exact mechanism behind Dan's method, which I call the carbon-alkaline suffocation barrier. This system works by attacking weed seeds in two ways at the exact same time, using simple chemistry instead of toxic formulas. First, you lay down a thick layer of plain, unprinted cardboard directly over your garden dirt. This acts as a physical shield, completely blocking out the sunlight that dormant seeds need to wake up. Right on top of that cardboard, you sprinkle a thin, even layer of clean hardwood ash from your wood stove or fire pit. This is where the magic happens. Wood ash is highly alkaline, meaning it naturally raises the pH level right at the soil surface. When tiny weed seeds try to sprout, this sudden, sharp change in the surface environment shocks them, stopping their growth before they can even start. Finally, you dump a heavy, 4-inch layer of raw wood chips over the ash. This dense carbon blanket locks everything in place, cuts off the oxygen supply to any remaining weeds, and smothers them completely. The best part about this natural weapon is that you do not have to spend a single dime to build it. You can gather all of these materials completely for free if you know where to look. For the cardboard, just visit local grocery or appliance stores, as they throw away tons of large, clean boxes every single day. For the wood ash, you can easily save your own fireplace waste or ask a neighbor who burns wood during the winter. As for the wood chips, local tree trimming services are constantly looking for places to dump their truckloads of shredded branches. You can use a free online service or simply flag down a local tree crew working in your neighborhood. They will usually be thrilled to drop a massive pile of fresh wood chips right in your driveway for free, saving them a trip to the landfill and giving you the ultimate weapon for a self-reliant garden. There is a simple scientific reason why this natural method easily outperforms the most expensive corporate systems. It comes down to a clever bit of biochemistry. By combining wood ash and heavy wood chips, you create a temporary dormancy zone right at the very top of your soil. This zone has a high pH and is packed with carbon, which completely tricks surface weed seeds into staying asleep. They simply cannot find the right conditions to sprout. But here is the beautiful part. While the surface is locked down, the deep-root soil microbiology below your established garden crops actually thrives. As the heavy wood chips slowly break down from the bottom up, they feed the helpful earthworms and deep fungi networks. Your deep-rooted tomato and pepper plants can easily reach past this top barrier to grab nutrients, growing stronger and healthier than ever before. It is like putting a security guard at the front gate while throwing a feast for your plant inside. Industry scientists know exactly how well this biochemistry works. You can find this data hidden away in old agricultural textbooks from decades ago. Yet, you will never see a commercial for it on television, and big corporate brands will never market this system to you. Why? Because you cannot patent a wood chip, and you cannot make a profit from fireplace ash. Corporations cannot put a barcode on a free waste product and sell it back to you for $50 a bottle. They bury this traditional knowledge because your self-reliance is bad for their bottom line. But understanding this simple science is your ticket to a truly independent homestead. As your mentor on this journey, I want to be completely honest with you. Corporate commercials always promise effortless results with the push of a button, but real self-reliance requires honest work. This system is not a magic wand. Setting up your carbon alkaline barrier correctly takes about 48 hours of solid, physical labor. You will be hauling heavy wood chips, flattening cardboard boxes, and spreading ash by hand. It is hard work, but you're trading 2 days of effort now for a whole season of freedom later. You also need to understand the strict rules of this method, or you could ruin your garden. You must only use clean, natural hardwood ash from a wood stove or campfire. If you try to use ash from commercial charcoal briquettes, you will introduce toxic chemical binders and lighter fluid residues straight into your food supply. That will poison your soil microbiology and stunt your plants. Finally, you need to know that this setup is designed to stop new seeds from sprouting. It will not instantly destroy deep-rooted, established perennial weeds like bindweed or thistle. Those aggressive weeds have energy stored deep underground, and they will try to punch right through the cardboard. To stop them, you need a specific tweak to the system, a double layer of cardboard directly over those troubled spots, pinned down with extra weight. Knowing these limitations does not mean the system fails. It just means you're stepping away from corporate fantasies and learning how to manage your land like a true, practical homesteader. Now that you understand how the system works, let us walk through the exact step-by-step blueprint so you can deploy this on your own homestead this weekend. Step 1 is the scalding preparation. Before laying anything down, you want to shock any existing green weeds. Instead of buying chemical sprays, use free solar heat by covering the area with a clear plastic tarp for a few sunny days, or simply pour boiling water directly onto the toughest weeds. This cooks the target plants right down to the root using nothing but heat. Step 2 is building your suppression layer. Lay your overlapping cardboard pieces directly over the area, leaving absolutely no gaps for light to peek through. Then, sprinkle your clean hardwood ash over the cardboard. For the perfect thickness, you want a dusting that looks like a light snowfall, just enough to coat the surface without forming thick, heavy clumps that could block water. Step 3 is the nutritional cap. Dump your free arborist wood chips over the ash until you have a deep 4-inch blanket. This heavy layer acts like a natural sponge, holding moisture in the soil while completely cutting off the oxygen supply to hidden weed seeds. To make this easy to remember, I have put a simple 3-item checklist right here on the screen for you to screenshot. First, scald the existing weeds with heat or boiling water. Second, lay down overlapping cardboard with a light dusting of hardwood ash. Third, cap it all off with 4 inches of raw wood chips. Keep this guide handy, follow the steps exactly, and you will build a self-reliant garden that keeps itself clean all season long. By skipping the modern garden center and using Dan's forgotten method, you're doing much more than just stopping weeds. You are saving hundreds of dollars on plastic fabrics, heavy tools, and toxic chemical sprays that destroy your soil over time. Best of all, you are building genuine self-reliance. True independence is not about buying the flashiest new backyard gadgets or relying on corporate supply chains just to grow your own food. It is about using your wits, understanding the natural chemistry of the earth, and turning simple waste products into powerful homesteading solutions. If you're tired of relying on corporate chemical monopolies to feed your family, hit the subscribe button right now. Leave a comment below if you remember your parents or grandparents using smart, old-school tricks like this on their own plots. I want to hear your stories and keep this hidden knowledge alive for the next generation. Now that your soil is completely weed-free, your next step is to maximize your plant yield without spending a single penny on commercial fertilizers. In my next video, I am uncovering a forgotten 1930s liquid compost tea recipe that actually uses a common backyard weed to double your harvest size in just 14 days. It is another incredible zero-cost trick that the big agricultural corporations do not want you to know about. Click right here to watch it the second it drops, and I will see you out on the homestead.